active tornado warning continuing there in Republic County as well at this time. Entire area in yellow is under a tornado watch. That graphic says until 9. I'm going to change that because it has been updated as until 2 a.m.
Yes.
And I can put that right back up there right now. That's the computer. That's awesome. We can update that on the fly like that. But as we go back to the other radar, this is our Capitol Federal live storm tracker, and you can see the different rotations showing up on the radar here. A couple of them, several of them. We have this one in Washington County. We have this one moving out of Ottawa County into Clay County, and then this one up here into the town of Republic. And that's going to be moving across the northwest part of Republic County. Belleville, you're not included in that warning, but the northwest part of Republic County is included in that warning. So back to the animated radar here. We'll put this back into motion. You can see the big yellow box indicates a tornado watch going until 2 o'clock in the morning. Again, as long as we have tornado warnings in our viewing area, in Northeast Kansas, we'll continue with live coverage here continuously on WIBW TV. We've moved the CBS programming over to 13.2 so you can watch it there, and we'll cover this as long as we can and try to keep as many folks safe as we can, but do the best we can to also provide you with your CBS programming too. We certainly do want to do that as well. As we zoom in more closely again, this is the storm with the tornado history. It's now starting to cross into southeast Cloud County and the west parts of Clay County. Browndale, you're very close to this. Miltonvale, you're very close to this. It's a tornado warning going until 9:30. The storm is smaller in aerial coverage from what I see right now over the last few minutes. That doesn't mean it's weaker necessarily, but it looks like it's shrunk at least a little bit on the radar. This one to the north near Washington, this does have, looks like the hail is getting larger in this. Doug, I want to see how big the hailstones are in that one. What do they say on the discussion?
Let's see, for Washington, I think it was, where am I at here? Might have to click the actual warning box there.
Okay.
Okay, so for Washington, you're going to have hail quarter size, at least at the last report there. Winds, there's not a whole lot of wind with that, but obviously you have a tornado warning, so if there is a tornado in the area, you'll obviously have the winds associated with the tornado. But as the 3 warnings that we have so far there, we can see that all the tornado warnings will expire at 9:30 with the exception of Washington and Jewel and Republic until 9:45.
Right, so they go to 9:45 for Republic County. Everybody else expires in 7 minutes?
That's correct.
Okay, okay. So I'm going to try to get the estimate of the hail size here that we have on our computer. And we're looking at Washington here. Hail's at least, let's see, there we go. Now we've got the icons up there. We're going to click on that. It's showing the hail at golf ball size. Storm motion 33 miles per hour, moving to the northeast at 33 miles per hour. Again, hail about 1.73 inches in diameter. About 1.75 is considered golf ball size. So that storm moving to the northeast with golf ball size hail or close to it. The other thing I'm seeing on here is that inflow notch or the hook echo is a little more well-defined than it was in the last couple of sweeps. I'm going to clear off that icon, that hail icon, and what you'll see there is the very well-defined hook echo very close to Morrowville at this time. So if you're in Morrowville, please take cover. This thing is very close to you. The tornado warning goes until 9:30. If the
9:45 for that one.
9:45 on this one. If the hook echo continues to look like that, I certainly can't see any reason why they would not keep that thing going. So zooming back out on this, it's going toward Hollenberg. You're going to be in the path of this as well. Northern parts of Washington County. That is a very well-defined hook echo. It's just crossed over Highway 36 in just the last few minutes here. We'll zoom in more closely on this one more time here. There's Morrowville right there. The radar picking up on my feet there, I think. But as I zoom in more closely here again on the Morrowville area, see if we can get the roads on this. And this is going to be, that should be Highway 36 right here, just the south of Morrowville. But again, this is the tornado warning that continues until 9:45. So zooming back out, we have the other tornado warning as well that's moving into parts of Clay County and southeast Cloud County. And you can see the warning here. This one expires at 9:30, just a couple of minutes from now, and it is moving into the western parts of Clay County. Most of the storm itself is out of the initial warning. It's moved out of the warning, so we haven't seen an extension of a severe storm warning or a tornado warning at this point.
I would think looking at some of the rotation with that storm, it would be extended because we still got some pretty good defined rotation in that in that warning.
But the storm itself looks like it's largely moved out of the box, so we're going to have to see. Yeah. It shouldn't be long. They have 5 minutes before the warning expires here, and what exists of that storm has moved really out of the tornado warning box that it was in. So that storm goes till 9:30. Washington County goes until 9:45, and the Republic County storm goes until 9:45 p.m. with a tornado warning as well. I'm going to stop the radar and zoom back in over here. That's not an update on it, or it would sound like a siren if that was the update on the tornado. But moving in here to the western part of Clay County, southeast Cloud County, this is the tornado warning that most of it's moved out of the actual warning box. So till 9:30 p.m. for Cloud and Clay, technically until 9:30 as well for Ottawa County, but really the rotation looks like this has moved mostly into Clay or Cloud, probably close here to Brownville would be the location on this, this rotation with this. But right there between Brownville, Miltonvale, Idana, these areas are right there on the edge of the tornado warning, and you should be ready in case this tornado warning is extended, and most likely will be. Not a guarantee, but it's certainly possible. So we zoom in here to the northwest part of Republic County. There is the tornado warning that did include the town of Republic. Goes till 9:45. Now we have updates.
Okay, so they're going to issue that for Clay and Cloud County until 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Near the Miltonvale and moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So you got that extension there for Clay and Cloud. That's
what we expected to see. So we have this extension here now, as Doug Myers has mentioned, until 10 p.m. It's tornado warning that includes much of Clay County. The extreme eastern part of Cloud County are in this until 10 p.m. as well. Enough rotation showing up very close to Miltonvale right there that this is going to continue. It's Doppler radar indicated at this point, correct?
Yes, it is.
What was the exact location they showed the rotation?
At 9:24, it was located near Miltonvale.
Near Miltonvale. That's where
yes.
They have it at 9:24. Okay. All right, so we'll zoom in more closely here on the radar, and the rotation just a few minutes ago they said at 9:24 they were seeing it near Miltonvale, so this has moved just a little farther to the north.
Yeah, we can really see it in the rotation here on the other radar source with the storm relative velocity, where you have the reds and the greens together. That's where we really see where that rotation is. To the west of Miltonvale, where Jeremy has put the tornado on there. So this is about the area where it would probably be if a tornado were to be on the ground right now and then moving to the northeast. So that's something we're watching. Also just watching maybe this area right here of rotation just to the east of it. Possibly 2 areas of rotation within this warning. It is very possible. That's what we could be looking at. But again, that goes until 10 o'clock for Clay and Cloud. I'm just going to look at another radar source here to see if maybe we can get something more. It doesn't look like I'm getting much with my other radar source. So that's what we're looking at, and looks like
the expiration of the old warning that was for the same area, the same storm. That's the expiration of the old part of it. So that's not that's just the old. What I'm telling Doug here is that the part of the storm that was in Ottawa County, they've expired that part of the warning. Not a surprise, as the storm has now moved largely over into Clay County.
So we got 3 separate warnings now. For Republic, well, we got Republic and Washington until 9:45, and then the Cloud and Clay until 10 o'clock. So we got a couple of warnings on there. And again, so we go through this because we're going to be going up until the 10 o'clock newscast unless we get another warning right at 10. But if you're interested in CSI Cyber, just head on over to MyTV 13.2, Channel 11 if you're Cox, to head on over there. Otherwise, you can always check it out on CBS.com tomorrow on the website if you're interested in that episode.
So we have rotation right here. It's in the northern parts of Washington County. This could produce a tornado at any time. It's Doppler radar indicated at this point. Morrowville, you're in the polygon here. The rotation looks like it's probably just to the north of Morrowville. But if you're in Hollenberg, Morrowville, you should be taking cover right now as the storm moves over. That's a tornado warning in place for the northern part of Washington County, and it goes until 9:45. You also have a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 9:45 as well for Washington County as well. 9:45 for the severe thunderstorm warning as well.
And Jeremy,
okay.
one thing we haven't touched on because it's just outside of our viewing area, I just want to let you know that Republic County is in a flash flood warning until 1:15 in the morning. So keep that in mind as well for Republic County.
That's right.
With that blue just to the west of Belleville, you can see that blue polygon there.
Yep. So how much? They've probably had 4 inches of rain over the last couple of hours. They've also had just tornado after tornado moving through Republic County from today. As we look closer at Clay County and Cloud County, this is an active tornado warning. This one began in Ottawa County. We had a confirmed tornado touchdown near Minneapolis, and that's been close to an hour ago now. But the tornado warning now is in parts of Cloud County and Clay County, and this is going all the way up until 10 p.m. So 10 p.m. for Cloud, 10 p.m. for Clay. This is the area where we're seeing the rotation is just northeast of the town of Miltonvale. Putting this into motion, you can see the storm coming in from Ottawa County, moving northeast. Clifton, you're in the path of this. Clay Center, you are in the warning, or right on the edge of the warning as well at this point. But Clifton, Clyde, Miltonvale, Clay Center, you should all be taking cover right now. Doug, what is that update coming in?
That would just be a continuation of our tornado warning for Washington County until 9:45. And the tornado would be right around Morrowville at this time.
Morrowville, okay. They are saying the tornado would be close to Morrowville in Washington County.
Okay, and based on our radar reflectivity here,
that's it.
You can see where the red and green, it's just going to be north of Morrowville now. Yeah, near Morrowville, and then moving up to the northeast.
So moving to the northeast right there, that's the tornado, or the potential tornado near Morrowville, moving northeast in the northern parts of Washington County. Go ahead and take it back to the other radar source, if you will, Doug. And we're looking at the different warnings across the area. Again, we have the tornado warning right there in Washington County. This going until 9:45. Also a severe thunderstorm warning going until 9:45 as well. The velocity in here, we're going to see if we can pick it up on this computer. And you can see the reds and greens bumping up against each other just ahead of Morrowville. Green is where the radar reflectivity is going away from the radar. The red indicates it's going towards, so you have this rotation in here, and the computer picking up a couple of different possible spots where something could be rotating enough to produce a tornado. So sometimes we see that where a couple of different locations could be producing rotation. Go ahead.
And Republic County is now out of the tornado warning. They have canceled that.
All right, Republic County, you are out of the tornado warning. The flood warning continues for Republic County, but the tornado warning is gone. It was scheduled for 9:45. They have dropped it early. It looks like that storm has actually moved into Nebraska, north of Republic County at this point. So again, we have the 2 tornado warnings that are in place right now. We have a tornado watch that goes until 2 o'clock in the morning, all the way from Nemaha County through Pottawatomie, Wabaunsee, Lyon County, you're in this, down to Greenwood, and everybody really west of there in the tornado watch that goes until 2 o'clock in the morning. The active tornado warnings we have right now, Washington County and Cloud and Clay County, those are going until 10 p.m. Actually, 9:45 for Washington and 10 p.m. For this one that is in Clay and Cloud County.
And that's what that was. That was just an update on that tornado warning for Clay and Cloud.
Okay.
That was just north of Miltonville.
All right, so the rotation showing up here, you can see this notch just north of Morrowville. That looks to be where the tornado would be at this time. It is still Doppler radar indicated. In Washington County, you are a good distance between the two closest radars. The closest radars are the Topeka unit, which is close to Maple Hill, Kansas. The other one is near Hastings, Nebraska, and it's difficult to see the bottom of the storms many times. So when we get into the nighttime hours with these, and these storms are out in this area, it's tough to see the rotation at the low levels of a storm like this. But we continue with the tornado warning for the northern parts of Washington County. That one's Doppler radar indicated. This storm looks like it has a more mature looking hook echo on the lower left side here, and that would be this guy right here. I'm going to see if I can get some more information on this, but you can see this shows the motion northeast with that hook echo on this, just north of Miltonvale on that tornado warning. Again, this is going to be in the southeast parts of Cloud County and the western parts of Clay County, and that is a tornado warning with what I would call a well-defined hook there on the southwest part of that storm. I'm going to take these icons off there, and again, you'll just see we've got this little appendage right there that looks like that could be the hook echo itself, and certainly has the best potential to produce a tornado if we were going to get one out of this. It did produce a tornado earlier when it was in Ottawa County, but it's been Doppler radar indicated now for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to zoom back in on that storm. Again, this is a tornado warning going until 10 p.m. It includes Cloud County. It includes Clay County. It's this hook, this appendage right there, just north of Miltonvale. This is going to be the part of the storm that has the highest potential to produce a tornado. So that's what we're looking at. There's County Road 813 right here. Let's see what road we've got here. That's Deer Road, so close to Deer Road and County Road 813. We're going to go ahead and give you a mileage on this. From County Road 813, it looks like this is not going to be very far, maybe a mile or a mile and a half to the northwest. Now it's moved, but the rotation now is up right there. The latest sweep of the radar coming in and moving our data. I'll just pan this up a little and we can look at the exact location again. But again, this is going to be moving. There's St. Joseph, Kansas right now. This is going to be large hail. Could be the size of a ping pong ball or a golf ball. Many times what you'll see is tornado here and then the hail just to the north of it. What will happen with these storms, the reason you see a missing notch here, a missing piece, is it's not that there isn't precipitation falling here, it's that the updraft is taking all those precipitation droplets and pulling them up in the sky. So you don't see anything at the bottom of the storm because the rain isn't going down, it's going up, becoming hail, falls. When it gets out of the updraft up here, sometimes it gets sucked back in and pulled around and around and gets bigger and bigger. But St. Joseph, Kansas certainly may be dealing with hail the size of golf balls any time now, and you should be taking cover anyway because you have this rotation just to your south showing up on our velocity mode, and this may produce a tornado at any time if it's not in fact doing so right now. But a well-defined hook echo right there south of the town of St. Joseph at this time, and I do encourage you, if you're in St. Joseph, take cover right now. You are in this active tornado warning. There's Jade Road, so we can get a couple more on Key Road, 290th Road, that's the area we're going to be here, kind of the intersection of 290th Road and Jade Road. And I'll give you a mileage here on how far south of St. Joseph this rotation actually would be. Looks like it's maybe 4 miles south of the town of St. Joseph, and not any farther than that because the storm is making its way to the northeast very slowly. But if you're in St. Joseph, you should be taking cover right now. This thing is moving very close to you. I'm sure that you're getting some hail out of this in St. Joseph right now, if not strong winds as well. So again, please, if you're in that area, if you're in St. Joseph, I really encourage you to take cover right now. That storm is really just knocking on your door. It is very, very close. Clifton, it is not as close to you, but you are in the tornado warning. Morganville, also Garfield Center, in the tornado warning. This is going to include the northwest parts of Clay County and the eastern extremes of Cloud County. So if you're in Concordia, you probably heard your NOAA weather radio go off, and that means that Cloud County is under a tornado warning. The tornado warning is over here. So if you're in Concordia, if you hear the weather radio go off, take cover. If you're in doubt, take cover. But I can tell you the rotation is right here, close to Miltonvale and moving to the east. Doug, what do you have?
Well, let's go on to our other tornado warning for another 5 minutes up in Washington County. There's also a severe thunderstorm warning up there as well. The Washington County tornado warning does expire here in 5 minutes at 9:45. The severe thunderstorm warning goes until 10 o'clock. But you can see there's not a lot of evidence of a hook there, at least on the radar. But this will be moving up to the north along the Nebraska border. You can see just southwest of Hollenberg. I'm just looking at my other radar source on the iPad to see if there's any rotation with that. It doesn't look like there is, but again, that goes in for another 4 or 5 minutes there, and that would probably be where it is, just to the west of Hollenberg right there, if a tornado is still possible in that Washington County tornado warning right there. But again, we continue with a severe thunderstorm warning there for the Washington County area, and that is for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So let's zoom out and take a look at what we have going on.
I'm going to bring this one up over here, Doug. I want to show this hook echo. It's showing up very well now around St. Joseph. I was talking to the St. Joseph people a few minutes ago and saying, please take cover, and I really am, I encourage you strongly. If you're not right now taking cover, please do. Night like this, it's awfully hard for storm spotters to see storms anyway, so if you think you're going to go outside and check out a tornado, that is very, very unlikely. It will be hard to see this thing in this area because it's dark and it looks like it's probably rain wrapped. But the rotation showing up there, a very well-defined hook echo, a tornado likely just south of St. Joseph at this time, and moving east, northeast at about 30 miles per hour. Clifton and Morganville, you would be in the path of this, and again, I do encourage you, please take cover and stay inside while this thing passes by. But that's a very well-defined hook echo that is showing up over the town, or just south of the town of St. Joseph right now. So back to our Capitol Federal live storm tracker, and there you can see the storm. Again, it's west of Clay Center at this time, right there. And Doug, I'll zoom in over there.
Sure. And
what we can see is the hook echo in this, again, is going to be right in this area. It's the extreme eastern part of Cloud County, and it's the northwest quarter of Clay County and the extreme eastern part of Cloud County. So the rotation of this, the hook echo right in this region, we're going to put a mileage on this again. Looks like from St. Joseph, we would put this about 2.5, maybe 3 miles off to your southeast at this point. As I mentioned earlier, when we see the purple showing up north of the hook, a lot of times that's where the hail is falling. It can be large, golf ball size or greater in many cases, but that's probably what's going on right up in here with the hook echo showing up in this region. Doug, is that an update?
That would be allowing the Washington County tornado warning to expire in 2 minutes.
Washington County tornado warning is going to expire in 2 minutes on time at 9:45 p.m. This is the one we saw earlier that moved across really the same area as this one, and we saw the warning expire, and then they reissued it when the rotation began again. Now, the good news is I don't see anything lined up behind these guys to cause more trouble later, so at this time we do have the active tornado warning right here as close to the towns of St. Joseph, Miltonvale, moving for Clifton, but we're not dealing with 3 or 4 of these at one time. We have one that we can focus on, it looks like, at this point.
Looks like we got Jewell County now in a tornado warning until 10:15. That's going to be over Burr Oak at this time and moving 27 miles north of Beloit, or 27 miles north of Beloit, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour as we get those coordinates up. See, looks like a tornado is on the ground northeast of Aurora.
And that's in Jewell County?
Yeah.
Okay, a tornado on the ground in Jewell County now, north of Aurora. I think you said 6 miles north of Aurora here?
Yeah.
Okay.
6 miles northeast there.
So right here, we're going to zoom in here, and that's going to be the northern part of Jewell County, stopping the radar here. And the radar stopping it right there. And this is the tornado warning for Jewell County again, and this is going to go until 10:15 p.m. The storm north of Mankato, and this does have a confirmed tornado with it close to 6 miles north of the town of Aurora. And again, that's a brand new tornado warning just has been issued. Zooming back into this one, this has the active tornado warning with it as well.
Actually, Jeremy, Aurora is in our...
is that Cloud County?
That's the Cloud County one, I'm sorry. Sorry about the confusion there. That's the Clay and the Cloud.
They said 6 miles north, or did they say northeast?
6 miles northeast.
Okay, northeast. So St. Joseph area is where they're seeing it. Okay. All right, so okay, so Cloud County, they're looking at this, and it's the Cloud and Clay County warning. Put the mileage off on this from Aurora. They're saying 6 miles northeast, and really that's where we're talking about. We've been talking about St. Joseph for a while now, so that area of rotation close to the town of St. Joseph.
This was reported by law enforcement. They did see it. Yeah, so I'm sure we'll get an update on the confirmed tornado because it's still technically radar indicated on the last issuance of the warning.
Law enforcement says they saw a tornado roughly 6 miles northeast of Aurora. Now, when you're tornado chasing, it's difficult anyway to pick out a distance on a tornado. I've seen probably a dozen of them storm chasing myself, and it's tough to say that's 5 miles, that's 8 miles, that's 2 miles. Unless you're just too close, then you know. But storm spotting at night when you're watching for lightning flashes to take a shot at this and say, it looks like it's X miles away from my position. I don't know where the officer was that saw this, but at a minimum, this is going to be a funnel cloud or a tornado that they've spotted, and it's going to be in this area where we've been focusing the last few minutes, the St. Joseph area. Again, law enforcement saying they saw a tornado. It looks like it's about 6 miles northeast of Aurora, and that's going to put you right there in St. Joseph. So that's going to be right along the Clay and Cloud County border, and again, this tornado warning continuing until 10 p.m.
Okay, so there's the update for the observed tornado for the Clay and Cloud.
Perfect.
This is 3 miles south of Clyde as of 9:42.
3 miles south of Clyde?
Yes.
As of what time?
9:42.
9:42.
5 minutes ago.
Okay. 3 miles south of Clyde. Here we go. There's the storm right there, and I'll zoom it right back out. And Clyde's right up here in this part of your screen. So we're looking at this just being a couple of miles south of Clyde. Hit the wrong button, but the rotation right there just south of Clyde. Now we'll get it right. Clyde, 3 miles to the south, going to be, there's my nose, and from Clyde down to the rotation is about 2.8 miles, 2.9 miles. So Clifton, Clyde, this is right on your doorstep. You need to be taking cover right now as this moves over your towns. This is a law enforcement indicated tornado. Is very well maybe touching down right now, and as it's moving past St. Joseph toward Clifton, we're going to have some large hail in this area. For folks in Clifton,
it might just be heavy rain because they're still indicating a quarter-inch of quarter-size hail.
You're getting quarters out of this, okay?
On the Doppler radar indications.
All right, that's the area where the hail will be, is north of the hook echo in most cases. Now, when you see the hook echoes like this, we've actually got 2 of them. It's possible to have 2 different rotations. I'm sure you've seen video before of multiple tornadoes touching down. That can happen too. We don't know if that's the case here, but the storm has enough rotation that certainly it could produce a tornado at any time if it's not in fact already doing so right now. There's Buffalo Road right there. Let's try to get across Street 27th and Buffalo Road. That's the northeast corner of Clay County, and that's where our most likely location would be for a tornado right now. Just a couple of miles to the southeast of Clyde, maybe 2.5 miles southeast of Clyde. Actually 6 miles southeast of Clyde is what it looks like now from the rotation I'm seeing there. 27th and Buffalo Road, that's the area where it looks like we probably have this thing touch down. Anywhere in here just southeast of Clyde, Clifton, this is very close to you. If you're in Clifton, again, the tornado safety reminders, stay inside, get away from windows. Even if a tornado doesn't hit your house directly, even if it's the rear flank downdraft, the strong winds near the tornado, that can blow out the windows on your house and you can get cut up or whatever. That certainly can happen. You don't have to have a direct hit from the tornado to be harmed by it. So get away from the windows. Put as many walls as possible between you and the storm. and make sure to go to the lowest level of your home. If you don't have a basement, first floor is the best you can do in some cases, then go to the first floor. Another thing you can do, cover up with blankets or pillows. If if you have a bicycle helmet, you can wear that. That's certainly something you can protect your head with. Vacate mobile homes, but if you can cover up your head with a pillow or a blanket, and that tornado starts to move in, you certainly give yourself a much better chance of surviving the storm as it goes on through. So again, lowest level of your house, put on your shoes in those areas too. And if you're in Clifton, I'd already be taking cover right now, but take your shoes with you. Grab them, go to your safe spot, and take cover.
So go ahead and show you what the storm relative velocity has right now. And again, we always look at the red and the green together. Now this is pretty broad circulation, I think, so it'll be interesting to see if they do extend this past the 10 o'clock current warning. Right now with this sort of broad circulation, there's not a whole lot of reds and greens in a small space put together that would indicate that there would be a tornado with this. So anytime you get this sort of broad rotation, it's possible there might not be a tornado warning extending past this 10 o'clock warning right now, but that will be something that we'll be monitoring. And again, storms can go in and out as far as if they're going to be producing a tornado or not. So that'll be watched closely over the next 9 minutes or so.
Okay, this is the update.
So they're issuing, go ahead.
10:15, we're going to go with a confirmed tornado near Clyde, moving northeast at 30. So this is going to be near Clyde, and it's going to be Clay, Cloud, and Washington until 10:15 p.m.
And they did upgrade it to golf ball size hail with that. Golf
ball size hail possible. Okay, so Clifton over to Clyde. Now, what was the location? They said Clyde, but did they say how many miles away from Clyde this was?
No, I'm assuming if they just say near a certain area, it's pretty much right
near Clyde?
Around the area. Yeah.
Okay. So law
looks like it's
enforcement
to the east a little bit.
Law enforcement's observing this thing. Somebody's seeing this in the lightning flashes and looking off to the east from Clyde, and this is going to be the area where the tornado is most likely at this time. Again, when you're storm spotting at night, you're looking at lightning, you're looking at heavy rain. It is difficult to see what's out there, but that's two different law enforcement officers in different spots that have confirmed that they see this thing on the ground. One of them saw it near St. Joseph, about 6 miles northeast of Aurora was the report, and this law enforcement officer says they see it close to the town of Clyde. So the rotation is going to be right here in this area. Hail the size of golf balls from Clifton over to Clyde with this, and the new tornado warning extends well into parts of Washington County as well. So Washington County, you had an earlier tornado warning that just expired in the last few minutes. That's this storm that's now moving into Nebraska, but you have this new tornado warning moving into Washington County that goes until 10:15. So 13 News begins at 10. We're going to wind up continuing weather coverage through what would normally be our A block. Let our news staff know that, and you guys should be news staff. You guys should be talking to law enforcement and emergency management in Washington County and Clay County, and see if we have any damage up here in this area from St. Joseph to Clyde over to Clifton. We may have some damage from this storm. So that's what we need the news department to work on right now, and see if we have any problems in those areas. As we check the next graphic here, this is the live sweep coming in. That's the actual sweep that's going through. The yellow you see right here is a tornado watch that goes until 2 o'clock in the morning. So we have a tornado watch that extends all the way to Abuncie, Lyon, Pottawatomie, and Nemaha counties. That goes until 2 o'clock in the morning. But the active tornado warning we have is this guy right here that includes the extreme northeast part of Cloud County, the extreme northwest part of Clay, and then the southwest quarter of Washington County is in this. It is moving to the northeast. This is a tornado warning that expires at 10:15 p.m. Again, it's Washington, it's in Cloud, and it's in Clay counties, or Clay County and Cloud County, all until 10:15 for this part of the warning. Were Cloud and Clay in that? They were in that. This right here. It's that part of it. This part expires at 10. That bottom part of the box right there expires at 10. This rest of it up here goes until 10:15. That's what it was. Okay, so we'll zoom this back out, and again you can see that tornado warning making its way to the northeast. Law enforcement reported this as a tornado. They saw it just a few minutes ago near the town of Clyde. They reported this is likely on the ground and certainly could touch down any time if it has not already. But law enforcement seeing this as a tornado on the ground, that's good enough. That's a confirmation to us that this is something that's possibly on the ground near the town of Clyde. So we're going to zoom in more closely again on this on the Doppler radar, and there are a couple of different hook echoes or notches you can see on this storm. One right here, and we'll give you the distance on that. This would be a notch or a hook echo right there from Clyde going to the southeast. We're looking at about 3 miles from Clyde would be probably the tornado right in here. There's a secondary notch here just south of Clifton, and all of this purple right here is going to be hail. Could be the size of golf balls is the indication that we've gotten out of this. And the hook echo that we're seeing right here, I'll see if we can get a couple of streets. Buffalo Road, it's very close to Buffalo Road there. There's First Road going to the north into the hail. There's Second Road near Clyde. And then down to the south, a couple more streets in here, Buffalo Road again. And that's going to be the intersection of Cherokee Road and Buffalo Road in the northwest part of Clay County. That's where we have the greatest chance of seeing a tornado on the ground right now. It's probably going to be right in there. Doug, you have an update?
That's just going to be a severe thunderstorm warning for Washington being allowed to expire. And then just in the tornado warning for Jewell County that goes until 10:15. That's going to be near Mankato at this time, or 27 miles north of Beloit, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour.
Okay, so another tornado warning. This one's in Jewell?
Yeah, that's already been there. It's just
one.
a continuation, yeah.
Okay, that's the same one. So Doug was saying that the severe thunderstorm warning up here in the northern part of Washington County will be allowed to expire. If you have a NOAA weather radio and you're in Washington County, I'm sure you're hearing beeping. And if you heard the weather radio say just a moment ago that a severe thunderstorm warning is being allowed to expire, don't be confused that the tornado warning is not expiring. This thing is still very much going. We have law enforcement that confirmed they saw this near Clyde just a few minutes ago. So if you're up here and you heard your NOAA weather radio say something's expiring, it is not the tornado warning. This tornado warning is very real, and it is still in progress, and it has at least 2 law enforcement officers that have said they've seen it on the ground. One saw it near the town of St. Joseph. The other said they saw it near the town of Clyde. And those 2 reports are both in the last 15 minutes. So zooming in more closely here, Clifton, this is very, very close to Clifton. Calderhead, Strawberry, you are included in the tornado warning as well right now. This will continue making its way to the northeast. Palmer, you're included in this tornado warning as well. And again, this goes until 10:15 p.m. So we have the tornado warning until 10:15, and also this purple stretch right across here. That indicates hail that is probably the size of a golf ball, or certainly close to it. I'm going to take this back out to the home view and give you a bigger look at the situation. You'll notice on the radar, we're not seeing a lot of rain across northeast Kansas. This event has been confined largely to parts of north central Kansas, and we've seen several tornadoes that have touched down in Republic County today, and also several that touched down in Cloud County. I'm going to zoom out on this graphic and show you just kind of the situation. You can see there's Concordia up into Republic County. Look at all of these confirmed tornadoes from today. And then down to the south, we had tornadoes, one near Minneapolis. We had a couple near Ellsworth. And then down in Sedgwick County, we had some injuries near Mount Hope, Kansas, as well from these tornadic storms today. But this has been a busy day of tornadoes across the state. We have not seen a lot of them making it east of this situation. They've really been from right here in parts of Washington County and to the west into central Kansas. But as we get later into the night, it's possible to see them make it as far as the east edge of this yellow.
Yeah, Jeremy, we will definitely see rain more scattered, especially after midnight. But as far as the short term, that's where we have our severe weather threat in north central Kansas. And I'm just looking at some of the other values that would indicate the potential for severe weather. And really, the farther to the east it goes, especially in the farther eastern portions of that tornado watch, the lower the chances of a potential severe weather. That doesn't mean severe weather can't happen.
Sure.
It just means right now, for those that are in a tornado warning, if it moves farther east, the severe threat will be less. So again, don't think that you're out of the woods. You're still a tornado watch until 2 o'clock if you're in that. Again, it doesn't include Topeka, but places like Junction City, Manhattan, Fort Riley, just be aware that you're under a watch. You have to respect that and have a way to get warnings. If you want to go to bed right now, just have a way to get a warning that would be able to wake you up if something were to happen. But we're going to continue to monitor these storms all night long to see how they behave through the next several hours.
What we're seeing right now is the storms, they really started off in central Kansas, and they've been making their way eastward slowly. And again, the tornado watch goes till 2 o'clock in the morning for the area that's in the yellow. And as Doug was mentioning, the farther east they go, the tornado risk is smaller, but you could be dealing with more of a damaging wind event where we're just dealing with strong straight line winds. 40, 60 miles per hour would be possible with something like that when we get late tonight, even after midnight. But there is a feature called the low-level jet stream that's kicked in tonight and has set off some of this activity, and that can keep these things going. Now, the reason that the watch goes till 2 o'clock in the morning only goes this far is because the dynamics in place, the surface conditions and that low-level jet and the jet stream aloft, you add all those up to get how far the potential tornadoes could go. And the Weather Service sees this as that's the line, that's the wall that they have for right now. Now, that can change and has changed in the past, but from what we're seeing, the pattern we've seen, the cluster of tornadoes have really all been up in this area throughout the evening. So we continue with a tornado warning until 10:15 for Washington County. Doug, go ahead.
We just got a storm report in at 9:57 about 5 minutes ago that there was a confirmed tornado 5 miles east of Clyde in Washington County. That was by a train spotter reporting that.
Give me that time and location again, please.
It was at 9:57, 5 miles east of Clyde in Washington County.
5 miles east of Clyde?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we have the tornado a couple of minutes ago, about 3 minutes ago, and they're saying it was 5 miles east of Clyde, so we'll get the location on that. Here's Clyde, and they're looking to the east. They say 5 miles. That's going to be right here. That's going to be that part of the hook echo. So, again, if you are in Clifton right now, you've got to take cover if you're in Clifton.
So we got several updates here, Jeremy.
Go ahead.
Let's go through it. So we have that tornado warning that has now been observed from being radar indicated for Washington County until 10:15 with that confirmed tornado 5 miles east of Clyde, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. But Clay and Cloud, you are now out of the tornado warning. And then in Jewell County, you continue the tornado warning until 10:15. So both of our tornado warnings in northeast Kansas go until 10:15 for the time being. We'll see if there's a continuation of any of those two storm cells that would continue to produce a tornado. Also in Washington County, you still have the threat of golf ball sized hail. So very good idea to get an interior room right now. Not only do you have that observed tornado that was on the ground about 6-7 minutes ago, but you also have the threat of hail as well. So always a good idea to take cover your head, get a helmet, cover yourself with blankets and pillows. You should already be in your basement by now, but again, if you're a little bit to the north of that in the far northern part of the warning there, the warning polygon, you should be taking cover right now.
So large hail is certainly possible with this, as Doug was mentioning. The greatest threat of seeing the hail is going to be up in this area where this dark purple exists. We'll see if we can get a couple of cross streets on this. In this dark purple, you're looking at 6th Road right there, and that's going to be 4th Road. And in the middle of this hail, there's 7th Road. So just south of Strawberry and Calder Head, that's where your big path of hail is going to be, is generally just to the north of a tornado. So the tornado warning for Washington County goes until 10:15 p.m. We've had this thing confirmed on 3 different occasions now by law enforcement officers in 2 spots. I'm not sure who confirmed the third. Was it law enforcement on the third one as well?
Yeah, well, that was a trained spotter.
Trained spotter. Okay, the National Weather Service has trained spotters in many, many spots, and they said this thing was 5 miles east of Clyde, and that was at 9:57 p.m. So the location of that, again, when they reported it, this would be 7 minutes ago at this point, but they said about 5 miles east of Clyde. That would put it right in here, and that's very close to that hook echo. So we have the hook echo here, hail there, tornadic storm moving toward towns like Palmer, Strawberry. You'd be very close to this. Lynn, also in the path of that dangerous storm. And again, the tornado warning for that continues until 10:15. And as long as we continue to see confirmed tornadoes out of this, very unlikely we're going to see this thing get canceled any time. So that's the storm. As we zoom back in, this is a little lower resolution radar I wanted to show you here, but the direction of motion shows up here very well, and the warning again expires at 10:15 p.m. for Washington County. The town of Washington itself is not included in the actual tornado warning yet, but if the storm continues on its current trajectory, you certainly could be included in this if it gets expanded. We only have about 10 minutes left on the active warning that's in place there, and if it's still this strong, we certainly could be dealing with it, making it up to Highway 36 and the Washington area. As I zoom back out on this, I want to give you the history of that storm. It did produce a tornado earlier in the town of, or close to the town of Minneapolis, and then as it moved to the north, it produced a tornado near the town of St. Joseph. We had a report of it being viewed near the town of Clyde, and then now it's near Clifton. But you can see the direction of motion, and it's not a new storm. This thing's been going for quite a while. Over the last hour, it has been more than an hour. It's about 8:30 actually. We had the tornado confirmed in Minneapolis. But as it moves to the north and east, you know, it's not feeding off of sunlight here. It's feeding off the low-level jet and the warm, humid air that's in place. So if you're in the Washington area, I would encourage you, don't think this thing's going to necessarily weaken before it gets into town. It very well may make it all the way to the town of Washington. That is a possibility. But for folks that are in Washington County, this isn't the entire county, but it is a confirmed tornado. We've had it confirmed in 3 different places in the last 15 minutes. But Strawberry, Palmer, Enosdale, Calderhead, you guys should all be taking cover right now as this moves through. It has a history of producing tornadoes. It also has potential of producing hail up the size of golf balls or maybe slightly larger. But that Washington County tornado warning goes until 10:15 tonight. We'll zoom back out, and as we've mentioned a couple of times, the tornado watch, everything in yellow is a tornado watch that goes until 2 o'clock in the morning. There's enough energy out there with a low-level jet stream, and also the humidity at the surface and the different directions of the wind at the surface and this dry line feature that's in place, that we could see this producing a tornado over the next couple of minutes at any point. It's already done it a couple of times. But the rotation now, this is reported to be about 5 miles east of Clyde a few minutes ago. It's 10 minutes ago, but now it looks like it's getting a little farther to the northeast, right in this area here. I'm going to try the velocity mode on this and see if it picks it up. This area is right in between Doppler radar sites. It's tough sometimes to pick out the low-level rotation here, but the trained storm spotter at 9:57 and then 2 different law enforcement officers over the previous 15 minutes confirmed they saw a tornado with this. And right now it'd be moving toward the town of Strawberry, Calderhead. It's awfully close to you, and this purple streak right there, that would be where the larger hail exists within this storm. And again, it goes until 10:15. So we have about 7 more minutes on the active tornado warning that's in place with that storm. We'll see if we have any tornado attributes showing up on this storm.
Sometimes. Yeah, let me turn that back on. I turned it off for you.
Sure, go ahead.
So here are the tornado ones.
Can you turn off the Topeka, Wichita, and Kansas City, and see if we just get the one out of Hastings on there and see what sort of attributes it has?
All right, so...
But these different rotation icons showing up here, that means our computer sees enough rotation there that it thinks that there's a tornado located inside that. We're getting an update right now. I'm hearing that siren go off.
Yeah, so that's going to be a new tornado warning for Jewell County until 10:45. and that's going to be located near Lovewell State Park or 25 miles west of Belleville.
Okay. Okay. So we have the rotation showing up here. This is on our Capitol Federal live storm tracker, and what it's picking up here are two different areas of rotation, showing it arriving in Haddam shortly, Morrowville also in the path, Haddam on the path of this one as well. But the rotation is this part of the storm. That's where we're seeing the rotation on this on our Capitol Federal live storm tracker. So there's enough of a spin in here that the computer is still picking up a likely tornado and also very large hail, probably the size of golf balls, close to Strawberry up in this area. But if you're in Strawberry, Calder Head, these towns should be taking cover right now. You don't have time to go out and bring the truck in the garage or anything. If you're up in these areas, you should be taking cover right now as quickly as possible, because this is a confirmed tornado. It's touched down in a couple of different places over the last hour and a half, going all the way back to 8:30 near Minneapolis, when the storm really started to materialize. But it has a history of producing tornadoes near Clyde, near St. Joseph, near Minneapolis, and it's been going for almost 2 hours now, really, and now it's in that area in Washington County. Again, this tornado warning expires in 5 minutes, so it won't be long before we see if the National Weather Service continues this warning or if they let it expire. Many times, 2 or 3 minutes before a warning actually expires, we'll get an indication as to what they're going to do with it. But in this case, we've seen so many times this has been confirmed on the ground. I'd say it's less likely that they would let this go, since they've had so many times that this thing has been confirmed to have touched down. I want to check and see what sort of hail size I'm getting on this storm. As we zoom in more closely, there's the new sweep of the radar coming in. Still seeing this hook notch right there, rotation showing up here, as well as two different hooks really on this storm in Washington County, and getting closer and closer to the city of Washington itself. So in Washington, again, this is Highway 36 right here going across Washington County. I encourage you, if you're in the town of Washington, be ready for this just in case. I have a new update coming in. I'm not sure what that's going to be.
Yes, that is going to be a new tornado warning for Washington County until 10:45, so the 10 o'clock newscast is cut because of that.
10:45?
10:45.
Okay. All right, so we're going to go with wall-to-wall coverage until this is done with, of course. But what we're seeing now is this tornado warning is going to go till 10:45. It is heading toward the town of Washington. Washington, you are in the path of this, and the time would be 10:30 for the arrival. Now, Washington, you weren't in the tornado warning 2 minutes ago. Now the city of Washington is in the tornado warning, and you have a 10:30 arrival time of the rotation. That doesn't mean when the storm will begin. You'll actually see the rain begin first, and then hail, and then potentially the tornado after that. So if you're a storm enthusiast, you want to take the iPhone out and get pictures or video or that kind of thing, Washington, you'd be in the worst possible place to try that, because it is awfully difficult. Storm chasers don't do this. Storm chasers don't position themselves northeast trying to look southwest into a storm. That's the most unsafe way you could possibly storm chase. So if you're in Washington, please go inside, stay inside. Don't try to watch this thing, because you will not see it. You won't see this until it is far too late. So please, if you're in Washington, I want you to take cover right now. Again, this is a tornado warning going until 10:45 p.m. It's coming from the southwest. It's right here, moving up toward Washington. It's been confirmed on several occasions. We want you to make sure to put on your shoes if you're out ahead of this thing. Go to the lowest level of your house. If you don't have a basement, the first floor is the best you can do, then that's the best you can do. Interior rooms offer a little more protection. The more walls you can put between you and the storm, the better your chances of being okay in one of these situations. We also encourage you to cover up with blankets or pillows. Take a pillow to your interior room, cover up if this thing is coming your way. And of course, vacate mobile homes. They don't stand up very well, even in strong straight line wind events, and certainly in tornadoes. Mobile homes just never win against the tornado. Go ahead and take me back to the radar full, if you will, Doug. I want to show the extent of the warning now and where it's actually in place. But we know that it's going to go all the way to the top now of Washington County till 10:45 p.m. And this is a tornado warning that goes all the way up until 10:45. There's the storm, And zoom back out on this. It's in Washington County right here, moving past the towns of Clifton and Clyde. Now it's near Enosdale, Strawberry. Washington is in the path of this. Morrowville is in the path of this. And the time of expiration for this is going to be at 10:45 p.m. So again, tornado warning. Did they consider this a confirmed tornado?
They do not,
in the text? They said Doppler radar indicated on
yes.
this. Okay. So what will happen here is when the Weather Service issues this tornado warning, this update, they're saying when they issue it, they may issue it and say, a storm spotter just saw a tornado warning. We issued the tornado warning based upon that. Tornado confirmed, tornado warning until 10:45. In this case, we've had tornadoes confirmed with this storm in several locations, several times. But when this expired and they needed to make a decision to go on, do we let this go or not? They said we see enough rotation on the radar, we've had enough reports of this being on the ground, we're going to go ahead and go with it. So I want to ask them, is it Doppler radar indicated or storm spotter indicated? They're saying that at this point it is a Doppler radar indicated tornado. But it has touched down in several places, and it is awfully difficult to see storms like this when you are storm spotting at night. You have to use the lightning. Doug, go ahead.
Well, I put the lightning on there, and that's one thing that we look for. If there's a lot of lightning, that's usually a good indication that it's probably going to be pretty severe. So that's another good indicator. We got about 29 lightning strikes within the last 5 minutes. That's what we had the lightning striker set to, with lightning in the last 5 minutes. So that's quite a bit of lightning in that amount of time. So this storm does have a lot of juice with it, a lot of power to it, and I think that's one of the reasons why they continue with the tornado warning, since it did have a history of that in the area. And go ahead and see if we can get a new funnel path for this to see if we have some new times. The last update, it was going to be in the city of Washington at 10:30. Let's see if there's some new times here. We can see about Morrowville around 10:27. And this other one had him at 10:26. So between 10 and 15 minutes from now, Haddam, Morrowville, Washington, you're going to be in this. So you should be in your shelter already, taking cover and getting ready for this as it passes you within the next half hour.
Which radar sweep is that on? Is that the Hastings or that?
As far as the storm report, yes. I still have all the sweeps on there.
Okay.
But as far as just the storm attributes, it's just from the Hastings.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. All right, thank you very much. All right, so we have the hook echo right in this area. Tornado warning continuing until 10:45, and we are expecting to see this storm continue to rotate as it moves up toward the town of Washington. So the path of this over the last hour and a half, 2 hours actually, I'll give you now, it actually passed by Clyde. We had a storm spotter say they saw it near St. Joseph. We had a storm spotter say they saw it just east of Clyde a couple of miles, and now the rotation is up here. We also had a storm spotter say that they saw it, it was 6 miles northeast of Aurora, actually, is where they saw it. So that was when it was by St. Joseph. And earlier in the evening at about 8:30, we had this thing touch down near Minneapolis, Kansas. So this storm goes all the way back to 8:30 and has been producing tornadoes that long. And is no reason, I mean, now that the sun's gone down, many cases you'll see the storms start to lose their intensity and their energy. This is not that kind of storm. This one's been going on well over an hour and a half past sunset and is doing just fine in strength as it moves across Washington County. So we do have the active tornado warning that continues with it. We're seeing the tornado icons showing up on our Capitol Federal Live Storm Tracker near Strawberry. Looks to be the highest level of rotation there. And this is a tornado with several confirmed touchdowns over the last couple of hours. Now I'm going to zoom in on this and check out the hail size that's indicated on this as well. And it could be the size of a golf ball is the last thing we saw on this. We'll stop this on the last frame. That's all right. We'll just pick out the location right there, and you can see the hail looks like it's time of arrival. It's going to be a time of arrival.
Yeah, I can get that back here for the attributes.
That's okay. So, but the hail there's at least the size of a golf ball is what it would look like. But Washington,
click it again. You should have it.
Washington's definitely in the path of this. There we go, 1.62 inches. So we're just short of a golf ball size on our estimates there from the computer, and showing more than 1,000 people that are in the path of this storm, and it is moving directly toward Washington. If you saw that path that came up there just a moment ago, I'm going to put that back up again, and we'll show you where that was pointing. And as we put that on, look at it. It shows it heading almost directly toward Washington and still giving us a projected arrival time in the city of Washington at 10:30 p.m. The storm motion 32 miles per hour to the northeast. So if you have any plans to travel from Marysville heading west on Highway 36 or going from Belleville east on Highway 36, this is not a good time to make that trip. You need to stay home and stay off of that road. That area is going to be very dangerous. At a minimum, even if you don't deal with the tornado here, this is going to be an area that's dealing with a lot of hail the size of golf balls, ping pong balls, golf balls, that size. Very heavy rain, winds could be 60 miles per hour or greater with this, and the potential for a tornado is very real with the storm as it moves across that area. We'll zoom this back out and go back to the next radar where we can look at this thing moving. The warning again goes until 10:45 p.m. We've seen this thing as it moved out of Ottawa County, across Clay, Cloud counties. Now it's just bearing down on the town of Washington at this point. So, folks, if you're in the Washington area, you need to be taking cover right now. You have just a few minutes before the weather conditions go downhill very quickly, as they would say. But Washington, you are not just in the tornado warning, you are right in the middle of the tornado warning. So when they design these things, you can see the polygon, it kind of has a zone of uncertainty where it pairs off one direction and gets a little wider the other way, just in case the tornado veers one way or the other. But I'd say Washington is almost right in the middle of the tornado polygon. So when the National Weather Service drew this, they weren't messing around. Washington, you are put right there in the middle of this thing, in the city of Washington, in the middle of Washington County. So zooming in more closely again, you can see a lot of lightning, as Doug was mentioning with this, around Enosdale, Strawberry. And when you're storm tracking or storm spotting this time of the night, that's what storm spotters have to rely on, is they have to wait for a lightning flash to illuminate the tornado so you can see it and get an idea of where the thing may be. But right there around Enosdale, that's where the rotation looks like it's as probably the strongest right now. And folks in that area, certainly we do encourage you to be taking cover. We'll zoom in here and look at the funnel path on this. Going in closer again, the hook echoes still show up very well. This is going to be close to the town of Strawberry and Enosdale. A couple of different hooks. This is probably the bad guy right here is going to be this one. I think that close to Enosdale is going to be the most dangerous place to be right now. Morrowville, this is right on top of you. Washington, this is heading your direction. You have just a couple of minutes before this is in Washington. Again, that go 10:30 arrival time is what we had the last 3 times I brought this up for Washington. Highway 36 right there, and this is moving to the northeast at 32 miles per hour. So the storm again, there's 17th Road. Let's do a couple of more streets on here. Indian Road right there, and this is going to be King Road. Enosdale there, there's 13th Road and King Road. I'd say the strongest sign of rotation in a tornado would be somewhere between King Road and Indian Road there on 13th Road. That's the area that looks the most dangerous. But to Enosdale, Strawberry, you guys, you've got to be taking cover right now. If you're in Morrowville, hail probably beginning right now or close to it. And if you're in Washington, again, this is the 4th time we put this up, and it continues to put 10:30 p.m. as the exact time that this is going to arrive in Washington. That doesn't mean that's when the rain and the hail begin in Washington. That means that's when the rotating part of this with a potential tornado would arrive in Washington. So you've got maybe 6 minutes before this will move across the town of Washington, but it's getting awfully close to you guys in the middle of Washington County there. Zooming out, we don't have a lot of rain across the area really. There's some showers falling in parts of Marshall County. We have a tornado watch that goes until 2 o'clock in the morning for the vast majority of northeast Kansas. I'll zoom out on this and you'll see that tornado watch goes all the way down into Oklahoma. Matter of fact, it goes down into Texas and all the way to Omaha. But we're not alone dealing with this, but the bulk of the severe weather we've seen tonight has been right in this area for the WIBW channel's coverage region has been cloud, clay into Washington, and Republic County was dealing with several tornadoes this evening as well. We had one touch down near Jamestown. Scandia had some tornado damage as well today from this activity. What was that update coming in there, Doug?
That's going to be for the continuation of Jewell County severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay. All right, so Jewell County continuing with the severe thunderstorm warning. How large is the hail with that?
Quarter size.
Quarter size, okay. So they are dealing with quarter size hail in Jewell County. They've had tornado warnings over there earlier in the evening. This is the tornado warning for Washington County. Goes till 10:45 p.m. We certainly hope that you are taking cover right now if you're in Washington County. We have an update coming in right now.
Yep, that would be the continuation of the tornado warning until 10:45 there for Washington. It's going to be located 5 miles north-northwest of Palmer and moving northeast at 35 miles per hour.
5 miles north-northeast at Palmer.
North-northwest, I'm sorry.
North-northwest of Palmer and moving
at 35 miles per hour to the northeast.
35 miles per hour to the northeast. Okay, okay.
And then, so basically, once it gets past this current warning at 10:45, it's going up in Nebraska. So if you're curious where this is going to go, unless it makes a right-hand turn, which I don't think it's going to do, but as of right now, it looks like that's going to be moving up in Nebraska once this current warning expires.
There's Palmer. Palmer's right here, so 5 miles north-northeast of Palmer.
North-northwest.
North-northwest of Palmer.
So yeah, well, that's about where that funnel
okay.
Icon is.
All right, here's Palmer right here. We'll take it to the northwest about 5 miles, and yep, that's exactly right. That's the area where they've got the location of the funnel path here. So Strawberry, Enosdale, this is the area that we've been thinking was the most dangerous the last few minutes. New update coming in here.
Okay, so now that's an update on Jewell County for both the severe thunderstorm warning and the tornado warning, both going until 10:45.
Okay. All right, so those are updates on Jewell County that's dealing with tornado warnings as well. Putting this into the time of arrivals. Again, we have Washington, 10:30. This has just been hitting Washington 10:30 over and over again. You have a couple of minutes at most before the rotating part of the storm would move over the town of Washington. This is very, very close to you, and it does have a history of tornadoes.
And if they do continue at Hollenberg and Hanover in northeast Washington County, would be in the path of this after it currently expires at 10:45.
Okay.
So we'll see if they continue the warning there.
So there's the rotation right there. Now we're showing much bigger hail. That's an indication that the storm is certainly not losing any strength. Again, sometimes when the sun goes down, we'll see storms start to lose some strength. That has not been the case at all with this one. Hail was about 1.6 inches last time I checked. Now it's showing it at 2.4 inches in diameter. That's an indication of a couple of things. First of all, that hail that big is about tennis ball size, almost the size of a baseball. Secondly, it indicates that the updraft in the storm is very, very powerful. If it's strong enough to hold a 2-inch ball of ice up in the air and sling it back up, bring it down again, then that gives you a very good idea of how powerful this storm is and that it is gaining in strength from what I'm seeing on the storm attributes there. Washington, you're in the path of this. Enosdale, you're very, very close to that area of rotation right now. Highway 36 right there. This storm, this purple area right here is most likely where we're going to see that big hail. So if you were in Washington right now trying to go west, you'd be dealing with hail the size of a golf ball to possibly a baseball. An extremely dangerous area to be right now. Right there in central Washington County, this storm has produced several tornadoes. And at this time, I'm seeing the hail attributes on there that are only getting larger. And again, when we start getting over 2, you're talking about a very, very powerful storm heading right for Washington.
It looks like now law enforcement has said at 10:19, which is about 10 minutes ago, that there was a confirmed tornado 6 miles southeast of Morrowville.
6 miles southeast of Morrowville?
Yes.
And that was at 10:19?
Yeah.
So we're looking 9 minutes ago. How many miles again?
6 miles southeast
6
of
miles
Morrowville.
southeast of Morrowville. This would have been a few minutes ago. So as 6 miles southeast of Morrowville, and you said this was going to be 9 minutes ago. So this tornado, if you're in Washington, been saying for a few minutes now that this was going to hit. This is probably going to hit right around 10:30. This is close to Washington right now. If you're in Washington, please take cover. Lowest level of your house right now. Cover your heads. Get inside. Get to the lowest level of your house. You have, get in your basement if you have one. I would cover your head with a pillow if you can. If you're in Washington, this has been a confirmed tornado several times. This was a couple of minutes ago. We've got a report of a trained storm spotter saying they saw a tornado about right there, and that was a few minutes ago. It takes a few minutes for them to make the phone call, get the report out. We just got the report, but if that was 9 minutes ago, then in Washington you don't have any time here. You need to be taking cover right now immediately. Enosdale, Washington, Morrowville, please take cover from the storm as it moves over. It does have a history of producing tornadoes. We just had a storm spotter say they saw a tornado with this a few minutes ago, and it is moving very, very close to the city of Washington right now. So we'll zoom in more closely here and see what we have. That dark area of purple right here is going to be the very large hail that's within this storm. And a couple of streets here we'll put on. There's 18th Road. This is going to be 19th Road. This is going to be Madison Road right there. This area likely dealing with hail the size of a golf ball, maybe as big as a baseball. That's what we're seeing on our storm attributes as the storm is coming into Washington, very close to Washington. If we zoom this back out, you'll see what looks like the hook echo right in here. And as I mentioned earlier, the storm spotters, it's difficult to tell when you're looking, even in a perfect situation, looking at a tornado, is that 5 miles away or 7 miles away or 20 miles away? I've seen estimates on that are very, very off some cases. If you're storm spotting at night and you have to rely on lightning to pick out whether it's 6 miles or 9 miles, that's difficult to make an exact measurement. But if a storm spotter said, I'm looking from Morrowville southeast and I see a tornado moving northeast, then there's no doubt that Washington is in the path of it. So if you're in Washington, I can't stress this enough. I really encourage you, take cover. This is not a situation to go out and take pictures or video. We don't need it. I don't want you outside right now if you're in Washington. You need to be inside taking cover. This would be a storm that would hit you with rain first, then hail, and before you knew it, you'd be in the tornado. You would not be in a position here to take good pictures or to storm spot something like this. The best place if you were a storm chaser would be down here because you're out of the path and you can look up toward the funnel or tornado or whatever might be there. But if you're in Washington and this is coming in from southwest to northeast, please don't think you're going to go get some great video out of this. You need to take cover. There's no benefit at all to somebody being outside there and trying to get video or pictures of this. I just encourage you, don't take that chance tonight with the storms that's moving through Washington. It has a history of tornadoes, and it's been going on for a couple of hours now. Do you have an update coming in over there, Doug?
Yeah, that was just the Washington County. The new update would be at 10:35 to reach the city itself of Washington. So literally 2-3 minutes before it actually reaches you.
They haven't said anything about tornado emergency, right?
No, but they did change the wording to observed rather than radar indicated after that. Okay.
All right, so town of Washington, this is coming very, very close to you. You've got a couple of minutes here at most. 10:35, the Weather Service estimates it would arrive in the city of Washington. Our computer's been showing 10:30 for a while. It's almost on top of you right now. Please take cover. I want to bring up those reminders of how to take cover again. Will you bring that up over there, Doug, if you will?
Yeah.
Again, putting on your shoes is a good idea. If you have to climb out of rubble, we've all seen tornado video where people are climbing out of their homes that have been destroyed. If you imagine you're at home at 10:30 at night and you're in your bare feet just watching TV, well, if you have your shoes ready, if you do get hit, it's easier to climb out of rubble in that situation when you have some shoes on. It's bad enough if you do get hit with one of these, but if you're climbing out, you want your shoes. Lowest level of the house, get to an interior room, put as many walls as possible between you and this very dangerous storm. If you can take a pillow to your safe place to cover your head, that's a good idea. Blankets are good. If you have anything soft to cover your head with, that'll help as well, and also vacate mobile homes. Doug, what do you have?
I just wanted to make sure that for those that want to see David Letterman, we are putting that on 13.2 on my TV, so you can head on over there to watch that. I do believe, don't quote me on this, but if you download the CBS app on your iPad, you should be able to watch CBS programming live on that. That's not a guarantee, don't quote me on that, but certainly you can head on over to 13.1 or 13.2 to watch David Letterman if the storms aren't affecting your area, which is pretty much most spots with the exception of Washington County.
Right, the city of Washington specifically right now. If you're in Washington, again, I'm begging you. I can't stress this anymore. This is the best I can do, is just say if you're in Washington, my goodness, this thing is rotating and heading right to you. It's not Doppler radar indicated, it's spotter indicated. We have several storm spotters, trained storm spotters, law enforcement see this thing on the ground, and it should be in the town of Washington right now or awfully close to it. So a half hour from now, when it's past Washington and you're out of the warning, then if you want to email us or let us know what's going on, you know, we're fine. But I don't encourage anybody in this area, please do not go outside up in here in Washington County and try to get a picture of this thing or a video of this tornado. This is not an optimal situation for it. This is an especially dangerous situation for getting out there with the phone or that. You know, we love to have pictures of tornadoes and videos of it when you can be safe doing it. That is not this kind of situation. This is night. You have to use the lightning to see when the thing might be coming. And what we're seeing is this thing is coming first with the rain, then with the hail, and then probably the tornado coming through with the back of it. So right now, this is going to be very close to, if not in, the town of Washington. Can I see that for a moment?
Sure.
All right. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. That's our Capital Federal Live Storm Tracker, and we have several different radar sweeps here going, and I'm going to take off some of the data. I'll look at just the Hastings radar here. I'm going to take off the also the storm track and look more closely here at the actual rotation that's within this thing. Over Washington, this is where we're seeing the best sign or the strongest sign of a hook echo. Now, Washington is a bit of a distance in between the two radar sites. One's in Maple Hill, Kansas. The other's in Hastings, Nebraska. So it's tough to see the very base of these storms when they're moving in this area because of that. But the rotation we're seeing showing up here is right there. You've got the green and the red bumped up against each other, and where we have that, that's where you tend to have the tornadic signature. So in this case, right there on the west side of Washington, that's what I'm seeing as the most likely culprit for having a tornado move through. We'll zoom in and look at this from another angle. And again, Washington County under the tornado warning until 10:45 p.m. I do want to mention that we do have closed captioning going here for folks as well, if you weren't aware of that. But that's something that we do every time we have a storm like this. Washington, here you are, and we'll look at the storm attributes on this. And the hail a moment ago looked to be the size of a baseball, and now the storm is right there on Highway 36. I mean, that's where the icon is located, is just right there, if not just to the west of Washington, right on top of town. So we'll click on the storm attributes here and see how big the hail is, and it's to give me a time of arrival for Hollenberg then. But zooming back out on this, again, you can see that the largest hail is right there moving over the town of Washington. So the dark purples in here indicate the higher reflectivity, larger hail. As we look at the warning goes until 10:45 for Washington County. We've had several confirmations of this. The storm is very close to or going through Washington right now. Hopefully it's missing just off to the left, maybe, but certainly it's close enough you need to stay inside. Then we're going to have to look up north, Spence, Hollenberg. You're not in the current tornado warning. It expires in 7 minutes. So 7 minutes from now, we may have a new tornado warning issued for this going on up to the north. That is a possibility, but this storm has been producing tornadoes for several hours now, and no real reason to believe that it's going to give up now. It certainly has not shown any signs of giving up after the sun went down. Many times you'll see these storms lose their intensity when the sun goes down, But this one is not that kind of storm. It's feeding off a low-level jet stream and also a lot of low-level humidity and wind shear in the atmosphere, and there's just no reason to believe this thing is going to die down before it makes a dispense into areas like Hollenberg. So I do want to mention that we have put Channel 13 and Dave Letterman over to 13.2 for right now. We're going to continue with this severe weather coverage of this tornado warning in Washington County, a confirmed tornado until the warning expires. This goes till 10:45, but if they extend it again, it may include the other part of northern Washington County. Now after that, it would be in Nebraska and we would break off completely, but this goes until 10:45 at least for what we have in place right now. So the actual rotation looks like it's very close to Washington, right in this area. That notch that's showing up on the radar, moving to the northeast at roughly 30 miles per hour. And I'm going to see if we have any damage reports coming in anytime soon here, but certainly we've had enough reports of this thing being on the ground that it'd be surprising if we didn't have something that's broken.
There's that continuation until 11:15.
Okay. Okay, that's what we expected. A continuation of the tornado warning now until 11:15. They say observed or Doppler indicated?
Radar indicated.
Radar indicated. Okay, so it's been a few minutes since we had the confirmed spotting of this, and the news that it's radar indicated right now that's good news to me. That means that nobody from Washington called in and said, you know, hey, this thing has hit town. I really hope that this came across as a funnel cloud or just a rotation.
Well, this is what they're looking at here on the radar.
Yep.
On the
this area up here.
Yeah, the base velocity here, the storm relative velocity, where you get the reds and the greens together, just to the north of Washington there. That's where you would get that highest rotation. So you can see that's still pretty pronounced on the radar there, and that is why they're saying it's radar indicated.
And it's still near Washington.
Right, as this moves up to the northeast. So you can go ahead and loop that a little bit. Let's kind of see it coming in from the southwest, and you can see how the green starts to get a little bit brighter in that last frame there, from this last frame to the newest updated frame there. That green and the red really get brighter, so that's what they're seeing. And now there's the new sweep. It gets a little bit darker there. So, but it's going in and out, so it's possible that this thing is certainly rotating. But as far as producing a tornado, you just don't want to take chances. If you're in the warning, go to your basement for the next 35 minutes.
Yeah, the new tornado warning is this. It goes up all the way to the Nebraska border, including the rest of Washington County, the northern parts, and it goes till 11:15. Again, we have Dave Letterman's been pushed over to 13.2 for folks that want to watch that. That may be why our phone's ringing off the hook, or storm spotters, I'm not sure, but we have moved Dave Letterman over to 13.2 for folks that want to see that, and I know a lot of you do, but we have a tornado. It's been confirmed and touched down several times. These two icons down here indicate where the tornado was confirmed to have touched down in the last few minutes. So we had confirmed tornadoes touch down just south of Highway 36. Now the rotation is showing up in this area just to the north of the town of Washington, but it's really very close to, if not right on top of the city of Washington right now. So we have the Doppler radar indicated tornado at this time, and it is going to continue making its way to the northeast toward towns like Hollenberg and Hanover. You are in the path of this dangerous storm. Again, it has a history of producing tornadoes, and we do have this going until 11:15 this evening. At this time, the rotation very close to, if not right on, the town of Washington. So we'll zoom this back out, and again, most of northeast Kansas, everything calm. Topeka, dry. Some rain moving in the southern parts of Marion and McPherson counties. And this tornado watch goes until 2 a.m. for everybody in the yellow, and that includes Nemaha County through Pottawatomie, Wabaunsee, and Lyon County also in this. The only county under an active tornado warning is this one right there in Washington County, and that does go until 10:15
and all this rain coming in from the south is going to be coming our way here. Sorry, I moved it while you were moving it.
Okay.
So that is coming our way. Probably won't be severe from those storms down there, But really the main threat is that Washington County warning with the tornado warning until 11:15. That's the immediate threat right now. And these storms, as they continue to push to the north, they're not behaving in the way that they would be severe, but that's something we're going to watch. We're going to continue to watch. And we got a new update on the Washington County warning here until 11:15. Now it's observed again.
Okay.
So this continues to be observed.
I'm controlling
with the
it.
same storm.
I'll control it.
Are you getting it? I wasn't touching it.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, where is it?
It's going to be 3 miles northwest of Washington, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour.
3 miles.
Yes.
Northeast of Washington. So we're going to put it in this area right here. So Morrowville, it's just off the northeast of Morrowville. This is confirmed on the ground right now. So this is not a Doppler radar indicated tornado anymore. This is a confirmed tornado on the ground right now moving through Washington County. If you're in Washington...
And that was actually at 10:36. So
10:36.
About 8 minutes ago, that's where it was.
The timing on this was right on with the radar and where it was going. Hollenberg, Spence, you guys need to be taking cover right now. This storm has a confirmed tornado with it right now, and it is moving off to the northeast. The largest hail is going to be right there. The tornado is going to be right there. That's where the confirmed tornado exists right now. This is a tornado warning for this entire area going until 11:15 for Washington County, just the northern part of Washington County. So Hollenberg, Spence, Lanham, these towns are in the path of this storm. It's been producing tornadoes all the way since Minneapolis, Kansas, back around 830. So it's got a long history of producing tornadoes and damage, and it is now moving north of Washington toward the towns like Hollenberg, Spence, and also Lanham is in the path of that as well. So put this back into motion, and you can see that storm moving from south to north. The old part of the tornado warning has expired. The part that was from Washington to the south, that expired at 10:45, and the new warning going from Washington northward, that one goes until 11:15. So that does continue at this time. And again, this is confirmed by a storm spotter just a few minutes ago that this did touch down. We'll stop the radar here. I'm going to put it back on the home view, and you'll see everything in yellow is in a tornado watch going until 2 o'clock in the morning. But really, we're not seeing a large area that's dealing with the tornado threat. We have the tornado potential, but the tornado that does exist right now, one that's actually confirmed to have touched down a few moments ago, is this, the Hook Echo, right there, just north of the town of Washington. Now, the report was it was about 3 miles northwest of Washington, riding here, but it is going to be moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. So Hollenberg, if you're in Hollenberg, you're directly in the path of this. You should be taking cover now. If you're in the town of Spence, you should be taking cover right now. This hail could be the size of golf balls to baseballs, but it's a very powerful storm. It has a history of large hail. It has a history of tornadoes, and it does have the potential to produce one in that area right now. It may be on the ground right now. It looks like the Hook Echo at this time is right here in this area, and it is making its way to the north and northeast at 30 miles per hour. Again, that tornado warning going until 11:15. Let's check out the latest hail size on this. And the storm was producing hail that looked to be the size of baseballs at one point, over 2 inches in diameter. Zooming in more closely, you can see there's the notch right here. There's the hail icon showing where the largest hail would likely be. And it's going to be about a population of a couple 20 that are in the path of this right now. And the hail size is turned off on that.
I got it back.
All right, go ahead and turn it back on for me. Thank you. And the hail size is going to be 1.6 inches diameter, and that's about the size of a golf ball, moving northeast toward the town of Hollenberg, Spence, and Lanham. So if you're in those towns, please take cover. You need to go to the lowest level of your house, stay away from the windows, make sure to cover your head. If you have a pillow or a blanket or something you can take to your safe room with you, and cover up. Just be ready for this when it comes through. But this is a confirmed tornado that's touched down several times. We had a report of it being just a couple of miles northwest of Washington just a few minutes ago. So if you're in the town of Washington, it looks like we've caught a break for you. This storm looks like it did either pass by or lift, or certainly could have come across just a funnel cloud when it went over or just to the left, just to the west of Washington, but then somebody spotted on the ground again just 3 miles northwest of Washington. So we'll call that was certainly a close call for the town. But Hollenberg, Spence, Lanham, these towns up here, you are still in the path of this dangerous storm, and it is a tornado warning that goes for another 25 minutes is going to be the expiration on this at 11:45. So we'll put this back into animation. As we look back at this, again, northern Washington County, the storm has a history of producing tornadoes. We had a report of it being on the ground just a couple of miles north of Washington just a few minutes ago, and now it's right there in the north central part of Washington County. Expires at 11:15 for the tornado warning. There's a possibility this could get over into Nebraska earlier, and if it does, then we would break away from coverage. But at this point, this storm continues in the northern parts of Washington County. Hollenberg, Spence, you're directly in the path. Largest hail looks to be that area of dark purple right there, but this tornado warning goes until 11:15. And not Doppler radar indicated. This is a confirmed tornado that has touched down in several areas. We've had law enforcement report it, trained storm spotters report it. The National Weather Service has confirmed this has touched down in several spots. And right now, when it's dark and late, storm spotters have to rely on lightning flashes to see where the tornado may be. And of course, we use the Doppler radar to pick out where the rotation may be as well. But in this case, that storm was sighted 3 miles northwest of Washington, the city of Washington, just a few minutes ago. It is making its way to the northeast at roughly 30 miles per hour, so it won't be long before the storm actually makes its way into parts of Nebraska. But at this time, still a tornado warning in the northern parts of Washington County. Again, this is going to be the area. There's a hook echo right here. We'll go ahead and zoom in more closely, see if we can get a couple of cross streets on this. And there's Hollenberg and Spence. And now I'll get the cross streets on here, see what's closest to that. Looks like Thunder Road, ironic, and then 28th Road there. The intersection of Thunder Road and 28th Road looks to be the most likely location of this potential tornado. This dark purple up here is the most likely location of some very large hail that could be the size of a quarter of a golf ball, or maybe even as big as a baseball around the town of Hollenberg. So Spence, Hollenberg, you should be taking cover right now as the storm moves over you. I want to look at the velocity mode on this and see what we're seeing. And it does look like there's some rotation showing up in this area. It's kind of in between Hollenberg and Spence, seeing the strongest signs of rotation there. But this could certainly touch down at any point. I want to check the latest on the hail stats here and see what we're getting out of this. Again, it's in the northern parts of Washington County, about an inch 0.5. So at one point this was at 2.4 for the hail size. So that number has come down, and you see the population impact, about 600 people that are in the path of this storm, with a tornado warning associated with it, and a confirmed tornado from just a couple of minutes ago. Doug, you have an update on this?
I haven't had an update since 10:43, but it does look like, I'm just looking at some of the rotation here on the radar, the velocity mode, and it looks like it's getting less and less rotation with it. So it's very possible they might expire the warning a little bit earlier, but as of right now, 11:15 is when it does expire for the Washington County warning. Zooming out, taking a broad look, just going to do this a couple times here in between talking about the actual warning. You can see not a whole lot of activity going on for the rest of us in the viewing area. We're noticing some storms coming in from the southwest and moving to the northeast. So Emporia, probably going to be about half hour or so before you start to get into this heavier rainfall. There's nothing severe down to the south. So as this makes its way up to the north, You can see it's severe down in Oklahoma, but as it moves into the Kansas state lines, there's nothing that has been severe over the last hour. So really just looking at this north central Kansas, and of course we do have the tornado watch that does go until 2 o'clock in the morning for places like Seneca, Westmoreland, Manhattan, Junction City, on down towards Emporia. So even though Emporia, you are in a tornado watch until 2 o'clock in the morning, yeah, you just have to keep in mind that if you want to go to bed, just have a way to get warnings to be able to wake you up if something does happen. But just the way the storms are interacting with the atmosphere, not being severe within the last hour, probably not going to be severe as it reaches you. So we're really focusing just on this tornado warning in Washington County, and it's not totally out of the question, but it certainly is possible that this might be it for our warnings tonight. But of course, we're going to keep a close eye on the radar. Looks like we have a reported tornado.
A rain rat tornado, 3 miles southwest of Hollenberg. Okay, I have it on Meadow over here.
Okay.
I'll bring this up. There's the town of Hollenberg right there, and right here, the southwest of Hollenberg on this computer, you'll see this is where the tornado would be, right there. So Hollenberg, you have a tornado that is located 3 miles to your southwest. This was reported just a couple of moments ago. Also, hail the size of golf balls have been reported with this, and the tornado moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So Hollenberg, you've got to take cover right now. This storm is heading right into Hollenberg. It has a confirmed tornado that has just been reported in the last few moments and moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. If you are in Hollenberg, you need to take cover immediately. Going back to the radar here, this is the Capitol Federal Live Storm Tracker, and I'm going to put on a couple of streets here. Let me see that if you would. And as we look at this, we'll zoom in more closely onto the radar here. Hollenberg, just a couple of miles to your southwest, and we'll put on the roads here. It looks like we'll be dealing with Rainbow Road, 28th. That's where that would be. The rotation, the tornado that they spotted, they said was 3 miles southwest of town. Certainly that's not very far, so we'll go ahead and look at where that is.
That was about 8 minutes ago.
8 minutes ago, so it's in Hollenberg now. It's going to be right there. It's going to be right here at that intersection. I think it's going to be closer, actually. I think it's going to be just to the west of Hollenberg at this point. All right, so if that report took that long to come in, then our roads are going to be Sunflower Road, Hollenberg Avenue, and that is where I'm seeing the rotation right there on the radar. It's going to be just to the left or west of Hollenberg here. Let me get a mileage on that. That's not very far at all from what would be what looks like the peak of this hook over to the city limits. Maybe a mile would be the distance there. So Hollenberg, if you're in Hollenberg, this thing just touched down a few minutes ago, just southwest of you, and now this looks like it's it right here, just maybe a mile west of town at the most. But if you're in Hollenberg, if you're not taking cover yet, then you certainly need to run for the basement right now, or the lowest place you can in your house. Get under something sturdy, and just stay there. We've got 15 more minutes on this warning. Spence, you're in this as well. But from what we're getting from our data, if the tornado is here and moving 40 miles per hour this way toward Hollenberg, then we're talking about this area right here, very confined parts of northern Washington County. It's not going to be all of Washington County. Lanham, you're getting heavy rain. Spence, you're getting heavy rain. You're both in the tornado warning. I would encourage you to stay in your safe shelters right now. But the greatest danger right now is certainly Hollenberg and people in and just to the north of the town of Hollenberg as well. So Thunder Road right there, put another cross street on here, 29th Road. That looks like the rotation is going to be right here on Hollenberg Avenue. And we're going to be dealing with, it looks like this is a tornado a couple of minutes ago, moving 40 miles per hour toward Hollenberg from the southwest. This is going to be the big hail right there. From my estimations, I'd say Hollenberg has already seen the big hail move through, but the tornado looks like it's right there, very close, and that's going to be it, that notch right there showing up on the radar. Doug, what do you have on this?
I haven't had an update yet since that observed tornado indication there. But as it's moving a little bit closer to the Nebraska border, I wouldn't be surprised, like I mentioned before, that this would be it, at least for the time being, as far as warnings go. So at 11:15, and unless they were to be able to cancel this a little bit earlier, we would be able to get you back to CBS programming that is right now on 13.2 at this time on Me TV that you can go and take a look at. If you want to watch David Letterman. You notice how these blue polygons here, those are flash flood warnings. So the Western Republic, that goes until 1:15. And let me see if I can quickly find it. You folks have had, or Western Republic has had about 4 to 6 inches of rain tonight, almost a very similar situation to what Manhattan experienced a couple nights ago. They're in the same exact situation due to that flash flooding down there. And looking at down to the south, you see these storms. They're going to be making their way up to the northeast, and you can see the tornado watch in the yellow. That does expire at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's very possible because these storms that are interacting within the atmosphere, they're not really doing a whole lot. They're not severe. Obviously, they're not tornado warned. They're not severe thunderstorm warned. So it's very possible that because they're not being warned, they may be able to drop this tornado watch before 2 o'clock in the morning. But as of right now, that's officially where we're at. Nothing going on as of yet, but Emporia, it's getting close to you as far as that moderate rain here in the next half hour, 15 to 30 minutes.
That's right. None of this activity to the south looks particularly scary. There is a warning down here in Oklahoma near Arkansas City, but it's not producing anything rotating, and no reason to believe that it would. But this activity up here has a long history of producing tornadoes, and at the moment it looks like it's probably lifting just north of the town of Hollenberg. If you're in Hollenberg, please stay in your safe shelter for the next couple of minutes. I've got a feeling that before 11:15 this will probably be canceled early as it moves across the border into Nebraska. That's a possibility. I'm not promising that, but that's something that is a possibility. But the storm did touch down near the town of Washington. It touched down near the town of Hollenberg as well. Zooming in more closely here. Do you have control of it?
I do not. Is it
okay. All right. For some reason, it's grabbing a hold of me here. Okay, so I'll get it. All right, we'll zoom back in on it, see if it'll go up here. Here we go. All right, so near Hollenberg, this is where the rotation has been, and it looks like this is going to cross over into Nebraska in the next few minutes. If you're in Hollenberg, again, please take cover. This is not coming. It's either in Hollenberg or it's past Hollenberg at this time. So we've been talking about that for a few minutes. Certainly giving you lead time on that. I hope that you had enough lead time to take shelter in this area before the storm moved through. But when the next sweep of the radar comes in, this is going to take that hook, and it should be in Nebraska. And then shortly after that, we'll probably see this tornado warning get dropped. That is certainly a possibility. We'll put the funnel tracker on here and see if it brings on any funnel path updates.
Oh, hang on, let me turn it on for you.
Go ahead.
There you go. See if something happens.
All right.
Doesn't look like. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot of rotation based on radar velocity, so it's very possible it might be weakening.
Good.
Obviously, the Nebraska decided to, the Hastings office, the National Weather Service office, decided to continue the tornado warning just because of its history.
Yep.
Just to see what would happen there.
There we go. It just took a minute for it to load.
Okay.
There's the tornado icon that's showing up, and it's close to Hollenberg. Not a surprise there. It's that's the notch that I was showing you a minute ago. Now, this is the last sweep of the radar. When the new sweep comes in, it's going to jump that thing across the Nebraska border. But as we were saying a moment ago, this storm has a history of producing tornadoes, and the folks in the Hastings, Nebraska National Weather Service office are going to go ahead and continue with the warning across the border into Nebraska. So there's the new sweep, as I mentioned, and the notch now is up here, looking like it moving towards Steel City, Nebraska. So most likely there's also a notch here as well, but both of those look like they're moving across the border into Nebraska. So it's 11:02 right now. The tornado warning goes until 11:15. Will you ask the Weather Service if they're going to drop this thing early on the chat?
Okay.
Go ahead and ask them. And many times the National Weather Service will look at this and think the same thing I just did. Hey, it's across the border. It's not in this county anymore, and they'll cut it off. And if that's the case, if it's moved over into Nebraska and is now out of Washington County, in their opinion as well, then we'll break off coverage and go ahead and put Dave Letterman back on TV here, which is certainly what I know a lot of you would rather see than tornado coverage for hours on end. I know you'd rather see TV at this time in many cases, but we want to make sure that when it's going toward these towns, if it's your town, we'll be on here covering you too. But this one looks like Hollenberg. It was very close to Hollenberg. We'll have to check and see if there's any damage reports there. I don't know yet. I hope that everybody in there was taking cover and that they still are, because the tornado warning officially for northern parts of Washington County goes to 11:15 as of right now. As of right now, I have no confirmation this will be canceled early. I have a feeling it will. I don't know that. But across the border here in southern Nebraska, those areas of dark purple, that's where the big hail is. The inflow looks to be right here. There may be another little area of rotation back here near Steel City, but this is a storm that has several confirmed tornadoes with it. It's been going since it was in Minneapolis, Kansas, around 8:30 when it produced a tornado, and now we have tornado warnings with the same storm as it moves across the border into parts of Nebraska. So we'll go ahead and look, I'm going to go to the next view here and show you that storm, the counties in Nebraska that actually have the warning with it, and it is going to be moving toward Wymore, Nebraska. Looks like you're in the path of this, and the counties up there. It's going to be, what do we have? Gage County, Nebraska is in this until 11:30, so they still see it rotating and they're continuing it up there. 11:15 for Washington County.
Yeah, and it looks like they're just going to let it go at 11:15. I mean, it's only 10 minutes from now, so I don't see, they didn't see any reason to let it
They're not going to cancel it early?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then we'll stay with it for just a few moments here, just for the safety's sake. Okay, we're zooming back in on this. Where do they say they see the rotation on the Nebraska warning? The Gage County, Nebraska tornado warning. Where do they say that they see the rotation on this?
Let me check on their warning bulletin. It was as of 10:53. It was 12 miles north of Washington.
12 miles north of Washington?
Yes.
That's where they saw it.
10:53.
Excuse me. So that's 10 minutes ago. They saw it 12 miles north of Washington.